Hello and welcome to Friday's second edition of Cracking the Cryptic. We're going to be taking a look. This is a 5x5 today called Area 51 by Michael Lefkowitz, who sometimes constructs under the pseudonym Juggler. And this is a 1-star, 1 out of 5 rated puzzle for difficulty. Although on Logic Masters, there are comments saying this is definitely not a 1-star puzzle. But one of the testers looked at this quickly for us and said that this is just fabulous. And I love the idea that the world of Sudoku might discover what's truly going on in Area 51. Isn't that where they took the remains of what happened at Roswell? I don't know. But maybe there'll be secrets to uncover in this puzzle, which it's got a really cool rule about drawing a fence, which is another rarity. But we'll have a look at this together, and I'll read you those rules in a moment or two's time. But a few things to mention first. I'll start by saying it's the second edition of Cracking the Cryptic, because earlier on there was, of course, a crossword video. We do the Times Masterclass video on Fridays, and today's puzzle by a friend of mine, Colin Thomas, was a doozy. So if you want to improve your cryptic crossword, knowledge, then maybe take a look at that video. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen. But other big news. Yesterday, Beatrice and I attempted a puzzle by Cornish John called Caves Can Hide Secrets, which was a fabulous thing. Beatrice won our January competition, and she was game enough to agree to come onto the channel and try and solve me, and she did brilliantly. And that video is going to go live on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. UK time. So if you've been enjoying, I think this is the 11th or 12th time that we've had a viewer onto the channel to solve. If you've enjoyed that series, there's going to be a new one on Sunday morning, so look out for that. Now, and if you want the opportunity to come on the channel and do a solve, do have a look at our Patreon reward, which is over there right now. Boom. Duality 3. Actually, I'll mention that none other than Tyler Hinman, who is one of the greatest crossword solvers that there has ever been, must be in the top 2 historically at American crosswords. I forget how many times Tyler's won the ACPT, but it could be it could be a number like 7. It's ridiculous. He's a phenomenal solver. Anyway, I happened to notice that he dropped a comment about these puzzles last night over on Patreon, basically saying that he was having an absolute blast solving them, and he was so impressed with the quality of the puzzles. I think he was on number 12 or 13. So do have a look at this. If somebody like Tyler says these puzzles are good, that's genuinely third party, super clever puzzle guy saying that these things are amazing. And you can see now nearly 250 solves of the final puzzle there. Phenomenal. And massive thanks to the Skunk Works for creating such a brilliant pack of puzzles. Oh, hang on. Now that's a strange message. Okay. That's a message from Colin about about my crossword video. I won't tell you which clue he's talking about, but it's my northern roots. That's all I can say. Anyway, what else? Oh, birthdays. I've got one birthday to do. I had a couple of birthdays to do in the crossword video, but I've got a birthday to do for Elif. Elif, you've turned 22 today, and I know this because your sister Borju wrote to me. Now, I could be getting both of your pronunciations wrong. I really hope I'm not. I think it's they're both Turkish names, I think. So I think it's Elif and I think it's Borju. I really genuinely hope I've not messed that up. But I know that the two of you live in different cities, and I know Borju has a bigger television than Elif. Apparently Elif likes going to visit Borju so that she can watch Cracking the Cryptic videos on a bigger screen. That's fantastic. Elif, I hope you have an absolutely brilliant 22nd birthday today. I hope there is chocolate cake aplenty. Many happy returns, and thank you very much for spending time watching the channel. That's all the news. Let's have a look at Area 51 by the great Michael Lefkowitz. Now, what have we got? We've got okay, yeah. I thought it was going to say normal Sudoku rules. It doesn't say that. It says place the digits 1 to 5 once each in every row and column. So there's not enough room for us to have 3 by 3 boxes in a 5 by 5 grid. So we've just got to make sure we don't repeat digits in every row and column. And then we've got Area 51. Extend the fence into a loop that doesn't touch itself. If a digit n appears inside the enclosed area at all, it appears exactly n times in the enclosed area. The enclosed area sums to 51. That's just gorgeous, isn't it? It's a gorgeous rule set. So you're going to need your line drawing tool in order to extend the fences. Oh, right. So, and the way to get that, if you don't always have it activated, I always have my line tool activated. Click the cog icon and enable the pen tool, and then you should get a sort of icon by the side of your number pad, which should allow me to, let's choose black, to do this sort of thing. Just drag your fence into different positions. Yeah, and they're all the rules. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. So how do we start? Do we start with... It feels like a Slitherlink puzzle. Do we start with... Do we... I don't know whether the fence graphics are intended to indicate sort of which is the inside of the loop and which is the outside of the loop. I'm not sure. If a digit n appears inside the loop, so it'll give rise to a square number, won't it? So I'm just thinking, if the digit 5 appears inside the loop, it has to appear 5 times inside the loop. So it's going to contribute 5 times 5's worth of value to the digits. So hang on. So you've got 20. So 51, which is the enclosed area sum, must be expressible as the sum of squares. So what are the square numbers? We've got 25, 16, 9, 4, 1. And some subset of this, well, it's got to be those four, doesn't it? They do add up to 51. 20, that's 25 for those, 25 and 1. So that's quite interesting. So immediately we can say that we know the size of the area then, because we know that the area must include 5 5s, 4 4s, 3 3s and a 1, which is 13 cells in all of the 25 cells in the puzzle. This is really interesting. So basically, almost exactly half of the cells are in area 51. And all 5s. Oh, and all... Right, so all 5s are in area 51. And all 2s are not in area 51. Because 2 can't be in at all, because if 2 was in, it would be in twice and it would contribute 4 of value, which we know is not being contributed in order to get to our 51. So there's sort of... what does all this mean then? So how do we actually draw this loop? 13 cells. So we can't draw that, can we? Because then the loop would be tiny. If the loop can't touch itself, we can't have the loop extending here. I'm wondering if what I should do is sort of label cells that are inside the loop and cells that are outside the loop. If you've ever done a Japanese logic problem. I think that was its origin. It was called wolves and sheep. That was a big technique you had to use in that, was sort of labelling cells. What colour should we have for outside area 51? We'll have green. And then what colour should we have for the aliens? So all of these have to be inside area 51, because otherwise, if you tried to say this cell is outside area 51, then you'd have to draw that line segment or that fence segment, and the fence would touch itself, which it's not allowed to do. Or the loop would touch itself would be a more precise way of describing it. Okay, so blue is inside, so we can draw this. We don't know, do we, whether it does, how it quite moves. Do we know whether this is inside the loop? If it... Oh, hang on, we know 2 is always outside the loop. So in this row, there's a 2. We know those 4 cells are definitely inside area 51. So that must be a 2, and that must be a green 2 to be outside the loop. So right. Now that's very useful, because now we know that this is all outside the loop. It's sort of wolves and sheep logic. For the loop not to touch itself, we're going to have to keep, or preserve, if you like, the inny and outiness of this boundary which we know exists. So, right, so now these 2 cells are outside, because how on earth would you make them inside? If they were both blue, you couldn't draw a loop, because obviously the loop needs to surround entirely the blue region, so the loop would start to look like that, and that's not the loop we're being asked to draw, because we know there are parts of the loop down here. So these cells are definitely outside the loop. So okay, and one side of the fence must be inside the loop, so that's inside the loop. How many cells of loop have I got? I've got 7, 8 now. I need 5 more. So, well, even if it was those, I wouldn't know whether it was that one or that one. Could it, if these were, could we have that shape? Actually, I can see a reason you can't have that shape. It's quite, can you see the reason that's not possible? It's the same reason as before. If we did have that shape, or i.e., if these 3 cells are in the loop, and the loop was asked not to touch itself. Actually, maybe could it come down there? I'm not actually. I might be wrong. Because it might be possible. This would have to be outside the loop. This would have to be inside the loop, because the 2 in column 1 must be outside the loop. So that would have to be. So that would be the shape. So that is a possible shape. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and this would be outside the loop, and that wouldn't work, but for quite a subtle reason, actually. The reason that wouldn't work is that the 5 in column 5, which we know exists in the puzzle, is supposed to be inside the loop, but that would be a 14th cell inside area 51, which won't work. Let me just see if there's a different way to see that, because that's much more complicated than a one-star puzzle. So hang on, what we're looking at, or what I'm considering. Oh, in fact, yes. Well, I should do that first, shouldn't I? This column's 5 has to be inside the loop, so that is a very straightforward deduction. So that is a 5. Now, every 2 is a green and every 5 is a blue. And there are obviously some more subtleties involving 1s, 3s and 4s, but they seem to be the biggest constrainers. So if these were blue, it's very true to say this would be a green 2. It's very true to say you'd have to come down there and you'd have to come down again. And it may just be that what Michael's done is that you have to appreciate that would put too many blues in the grid. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, it wouldn't work for count. That's really clever setting, isn't it? To stop that being how this blue connects to the rest of the blue. So we have to come down here. Well, or to put it another way, these are definitely outside the loop then. So this is definitely inside the loop. This is definitely inside the loop. We're still not quite done here. Because although we've got some principles established, there is still some optionality about how this all closes up, isn't there? Right, how many cells have I now got? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2 more. So I've got 2 more. Oh, this is definitely a 5. Because the 5 in row 1 must be in area 51. The 5 in row 2 must be in area 51. Now, so if this was green, I think actually that has to be green. That has to be blue. Because if that was green, the loop would touch itself. Let me just show you that. There would have to be a fence doing that, wouldn't there? And the loop would touch. So that's definitely blue. And now I can put the 2 into this column because we know that 2 is always in green in any row or column where it appears. Yeah, and now if there's an ambiguity here. One of these domino is green, one is blue. But if we did it this way round and isolated a puddle of green in the middle, the loop, there would sort of be an internal loop and an external loop. There would be 2 loops. And the loop would touch itself as well, which is too naughty for words. So we've got to do blue there and green there. And then hopefully what we're going to be able to do, yeah. So now 5 in this row has to be in blue. 5 in this row has to be in blue. 2 in this column has to be in green. 2 in row 3 has to be in green. 2 in row 2 has to be in green. And we can't break Sudoku, so we've done all the 2s and the 5s. Now, right. Well, now what were the other things we had to do? 4. Oh, right. So 4. Oh, hang on. I've just noticed something. I should draw that line segment in as well. 4 we know is 4 times in blue. But it's definitely not in blue in row 1. So in every other row, 4 must be blued, that's very straightforward to do. Now, do we do 3s or 1s next? There was only 1 1 in blue. Yeah, there's 1 1 in blue. That's got to be in column 5. So there's a 1 in one of those. So there's no 1 in blue in column 2. So did I say column 5? I meant column 3. I apologise if I... So that's got to be a 1 by the same principle. Okay, is that good? Oh, I can put the last 4 in, I've just noticed. So that's 3 in the corner, that's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Okay, so it seems like we're just filling it in now, 3s. I'm going to just check the 3 count, though. I'm meant to have 3 3s, aren't I? A square number of 3s. 3 3s adding to 9 in area 51. So that is, I think, that is the solution to the puzzle. That is brilliant. What a fantastic puzzle that is. Don't you think? It's not complicated. Okay, well, no, it isn't that complicated. But it has got mystery around it. And it's very logical and really clean once you start to think about it. It's a beautiful puzzle. It's absolutely. I'm delighted that we've tried to solve that one, because I think that will be very popular and with good reason. It's certainly not trivial, and yet it has all of that beauty rating and beauty factor that you'd hope to have, and we expect to have from all of the puzzles we attempt on the channel. Fantastic, Michael, as usual. What a creative mind you have. And let me know in the comments how you got on with the puzzle. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.